Prospective rideshare passengers should be wary of drivers posing as if they're driving for Uber or Lyft, asking for cash. What are the downsides to this? Are there any upsides? We're going to talk about that, but here's a news story. I want you to watch this because I don't know if they totally get it right. There are some issues in regards to individuals driving their own cars, asking for cash that are not operating on the platform that we need to discuss.
It happens almost daily here at the airport. People posing as rideshare drivers and offering up trips for cash, but it could lead to a number of problems, including travelers being taken advantage of. Divya Shah and his wife landed in Las Vegas on Wednesday, ready for vacation. Excited for your trip?
Yep.
They called a rideshare to take them to their hotel like so many others do, but now a warning for travelers to think twice before driving off. Authorities say people are posing as rideshare drivers to exploit unsuspecting passengers. It's a trend that has caught the attention of both airport officials and law enforcement agencies.
These cars come through trying to pick passengers up, saying they have cash, that they can go ahead and give them a ride.
Joseph Rachel, a spokesperson for Harry Reid International, says it's prompted heightened security and public awareness campaigns at the airport, like these signs posted at the rideshare pickup area.
When it does get busier, it might be more tempting for people to want to try to accept that kind of ride.
The imposters often operate in close proximity to the designated pickup areas, capitalizing on the confusion and rush of passengers trying to get to their next destination.
Companies do have these safety protocols built into their systems.
Rideshare platforms provide essential safety features such as driver and vehicle identification and real-time tracking.
If there's a Lyft or Uber, then the responsibility comes for the Lyft and Uber.
It's a safety measure.
Yeah.
It's something that Shaw already knew, but says he'll be even more aware of moving forward.
That's really scary.
And airport officials are constantly looking out for these people posing as drivers, but they recommend reporting something suspicious if you see it. Reporting from Reader International, I'm Melissa Betancourt.
Now, this is pertaining to prospective passengers. You just flown in somewhere, you want to hail an Uber or Lyft, and you don't want to be dealing with somebody who is pretending to be a rideshare driver, because in this video, they talk about safety features. Folks, if you are looking to hail a ride, there's not a lot of extra safety provided in using an Uber or Lyft over some stranger getting in their car. There is somewhat of a data trail on Uber or Lyft. After all, you use the app to request a ride, so you'd assume there is some record of the transaction, but that's minimal at best. I'll tell you right off the bat, we've covered stories here where Uber or Lyft cannot even be depended upon by the actual police to help them out in investigations when something happens to either the driver or the passenger. We've discussed that here. But in addition to that, the background checks on drivers is not necessarily that thorough. We've had cases of felons operating rideshare vehicles and indeed assaulting passengers, up to and including rape and a host of other major felonies. So you're not necessarily that safe. I would favor hailing a documented vehicle as opposed to somebody that is just requesting cash. But if they're going to save you a significant amount of money on the trip, it may not be something that you should instantly disqualify. Fact is, whatever you're paying Uber or Lyft, the driver only makes 20 to 40% of that. So this is where this is coming from. A lot of the folks that are willing to take cash trips actually are, or at least have, driven for Uber or Lyft. The pay is just that damn low. You can actually give a passenger 40% off of their Uber or Lyft fee and make a significant amount of an increase yourself. So if you're giving a passenger, let's say the trip charges $100. You tell the passenger, I'll do it for $60. Chances are you as a driver, your take of that $100 is going to probably be between 30 to 50 at most. So now you're making 60 and they're only paying 60. So they save 40 and you may potentially be making $30, $40 more than what you would have made. This is where this stuff is coming from. These folks are not showing up to request cash trips out of the blue. Most of them have tried driving for Uber or Lyft first and realize they're getting ripped off. The pay is not significant enough. But I understand folks saying, well, I want to get an Uber or Lyft because it's more safe. Well, as I stated, that's not necessarily true. The background checks are not that thorough. In regards to the maintenance on our vehicles, Uber or Lyft don't verify maintenance on the driver's car. That car could break down on you just like anybody else's. Just because an Uber or Lyft driver show up to pick you up, there is absolutely no guarantee you're going to make it to your destination. Other than the year of the vehicle. In some markets, they want the vehicle to be within a certain amount of years. Okay, your car can't be no more than 15 years old or something like that. That's it. That is it. Many markets don't require you provide any other upkeep information on the car, such as oil changes, routine maintenance, or anything. They don't know what condition the car is in. They simply go by what the passenger is reporting. So if a passenger says, I got in the car and the seats were ripped or something like that, they likely will then disqualify the driver on the grounds that he proved that the car is in drive-worthy condition. Problem with that is simple. It leaves an avenue for passengers who are just disgruntled to say any damn thing they want about an Uber or Lyft driver and get them temporarily taken off the app, temporarily disqualified from driving. I think many of you folks, feel free to state it. Many of you folks have maybe actually encountered this before. But state it in the comment section. Have you had a driver or passenger? If you're a driver, have you had a passenger deliberately make up something about you or your vehicle just to get you in trouble, get you disqualified? It happens actually all the time. All the time. But I just want to point it out because I don't believe in this particular market, in this particular, the way things are being done with rideshare, I don't believe the passengers are significantly safer with a rideshare driver. I think it's minimal at best. I still would prefer riding in a car with Uber or Lyft as opposed to just some stranger. But like I stated, if the savings are big enough, this video talks about flying into LA, for instance. What if you flying into Las Vegas, for instance? What if you flew into Las Vegas, but you wanted to go to Los Angeles for the weekend? You could probably find a driver that would drive you all the way to LA, which is a 200+ mile trip, for significantly less than you could if you went through Uber or Lyft. Significantly less. I'm talking well over $100 to $200 less than what that trip would charge you if you go through the app. Not saying to go out and do it, but I'm just pointing out that Uber and Lyft charge a lot more than what the driver makes. A lot. That's why this type of stuff is happening. I would submit to you just about everybody that is in these videos that are asking for cash trips have tried ride sharing first, realized they were not getting anywhere financially, and decided, well, let me see if I can cut Uber or Lyft out of the picture. Fact is, their take is too damn big. It encourages people to try to go around Uber or Lyft. Their cut is huge. Not to mention one of the other issues in regards to the aspect of safety insurance. Uber and Lyft's insurance has a $2,500 deductible. In other words, if you need to file a claim, the deductible is $2,500. I don't know how reliable a passenger that is injured while riding in an Uber or Lyft can feel that they actually will get some relief, because a lot of drivers, for instance, do not have $2,500 to pay for the deductible. I assume you could probably follow it up with Uber or Lyft, but most likely you're going to need an ambulance chase or a lawyer or something like that. Uber and Lyft are not on the up and up, particularly Uber. Keep in mind, we just talked about, speaking of Vegas, our last video talked about them trying to back a law in Nevada, in that very city, in that very state, that limits how much lawyers can receive if they actually file a case on behalf of somebody who's been victimized. So if you're in an Uber as a passenger, 20%, by the way, it is 20%. So if you are injured while riding in an Uber, you hire a lawyer to sue the actual Uber company. The most your attorney can get out of your settlement is 20%. Currently, the portion that attorneys get out of these settlements, 33 to 40%. So by lowering it to 20%, the outcome is obvious. You're going to have a lower quality of attorneys that are willing to work for such a huge drop in pay. I mean, going from 40% of a settlement to 20%, that's thousands, could be tens of thousands of dollars that lawyer won't make. Look, Uber's obviously doing this for a reason. So understand that I don't know if ignoring the guy who is willing to drive you for cash and picking an Uber or Lyft is that significant of an increase. Because you're going to pay a lot more to that Uber or Lyft driver than you are to the person asking cash. If something goes wrong, yeah, but I gotta say, in the overwhelming majority of cases, these people just want to make money, just like you want to just take a trip. So think about that. I just wanted to bring this to you because I actually had somebody come to me like this on a recent trip, and it was when I seen this article or seen this video, I'm like, damn, apparently this is quite a thing. But have you seen this in your market? Drivers offering to drive for cash to undermine Uber and Lyft. And if you have, what are the chances that the person asking for cash is indeed an Uber or Lyft driver, or at the very least, a former Uber or Lyft driver? State it in the comments. As always, feel free to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.